Okay. Well, welcome to the York City Historical Architectural Review Board. My name's Craig Zumbrun. I have the opportunity to be the chair for another meeting or two. I'd like to call the meeting to order with the roll call. Mr. Kunkel.
Here.
Mr. Schirmeyer.
Here.
Ms. McLean-Gross.
Here.
Mr. Buffington, absent. Ms. Gifford.
Here.
Mr. Gifford, I apologize. Ms. Hinsel.
Here.
And Mr. Skehan is absent. And we'll call for a review of the minutes. Could I have a motion to approve the November 30th minutes?
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Hearing none, approved unanimously. I think the unfinished business from last meeting is on the agenda as the third case. Is there any other business that anyone had from the last meeting? I don't believe so. Let's begin with the first case, 135 West Philadelphia Street, a new auxiliary building to be constructed on the west boundary of the Meeting House grounds where the historic horse shed once stood. Is there anyone here to discuss that project? Good. Would you like to just come up to the mic and tell us a little bit more about it? I think we have some good information in the application.
I'm Lamar Matthew. I am a trustee at the Friends Meeting, Quaker. We need space for storage. We're getting old and we can't pick these things out of trucks anymore and use them every time that we need them. We have no storage space at the Meeting House. We have planned for this. It'll be and brought in and assembled in pieces because of the access to the area. We have set it back far enough that it does not interfere with the large glass window that is now part of the History Center.
That was going to be one of my questions. If you've been in there, it actually,
Right.
your yard almost becomes, and cemetery almost becomes part of that whole space now.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's set back far enough that when you're standing in there and looking out, you may see a tiny bit of a corner.
That's good, yeah.
And there are no graves there. We're sure of that. That's where the original horse sheds were. And that's about it. We're not sure on the finish color, whether to leave it natural and let it age, as most of those horse sheds did and still are, the ones that are still standing in Lancaster County and in Adams County, I guess, also. So that was our only thing that we're stuck on.
Is the cladding, and I had read through this a while ago, is the cladding of the building going to be heat, or is it going to be a fiber cement product? Or?
Wood.
Wood, okay.
Yes. Board and batten.
So board and batten, real wood, okay.
What
yeah.
is the wood?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Yeah, he's just asking that because he's concerned about your maintenance. Because a lot of your new woods won't hold up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they won't last long.
Like pine 1x12 from Lowe's, they'd be rotten in
Right.
definitely 10 years, maybe sooner.
I'll be
Snow piled up against them.
I'll be gone by then.
Well, you don't know that, but anyways.
So you're saying you're not going to be maintaining them, is that it?
Oh, it'll be maintained. There is enough of an endowment to the meeting to maintain any buildings that we have.
Right. Given the age of the structure that this would be an auxiliary structure for, I think vertical board and batten for an auxiliary building is appropriate.
Yeah, I think it's fine, for a shed building off to the, side. I don't have any, and the materials are fine.
And we plan to have full leaf shutters that match the meeting house and the iron strap hinges.
So it's actually not just ornamented to look like shutters?
No.
There are actually windows behind those?
Oh, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Okay, yeah, it's not gonna be an inexpensive
It'll be
shed
shut
then.
all the time.
They'll be shut all the time unless we're working in there.
Okay, got it.
Well, I'll make a motion that we accept the application as presented.
And I will second that.
Moved and seconded to approve the application as presented. Any other questions or comments or discussions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposing or abstaining votes? Hearing none, approved unanimously. Thank you very much. Good luck with your project.
Thank you, yeah,
It probably won't get underway until spring.
great. And that was you answered basically my question about it's gonna be off to the side, so. Because the nice thing about that new history center space is when I was in it is, that yard, your site, your meeting house really almost becomes part of that
It does.
space. It was kind of off by itself and kind of forgotten all these years. Now it really is, that whole center kind of embraces all that, so.
I have heard several people who have been on the tour, and they look out and see the meeting house.
It's perfect location for, yeah.
Some of them said, "What is that?" It's been there since 1766.
Yeah,
Don't know it's there.
great.
All right, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Oh, I need to tell you, burial ground, those stones are not really on top of the
Okay,
brought in back in the 60s when the Boy Scouts cleaned up that thicket that was there. They lined them up so that they could mow these here.
okay. So there are graves there, or there aren't graves?
Probably 4 or 5. All those other ones that are
Are not, oh, that's interesting.
if you look at it, they're only this far.
Right. Interesting, okay.
I used to work with her
To the-
when historical and AIM merged.
Right, I was trying to, yeah,
With AIM. Vamoosed.
yeah. I was trying to remember that. Now that comes back.
The next case is 353 East King Street, installing 6 white double-hung windows on the front of the house facing the street, installing windows on the first and second floors, removing only the current wood sashes, and installing replacement windows. Would like to install Interstate 9800 composite windows, which have been approved by HARB for the previous projects in the district.
That's correct. That's it.
Okay, all right. And so the lights are divided in the same manner as what you're replacing?
So actually, there are no lights in the windows. Currently, if you do see lights, like on the second floor, well, I guess I should say, when you say lights, so for the first floor, for example, like a top sash and bottom sash, we're planning on replicating that same look.
Yeah, they all look like they're one pane over one pane.
One pane over one pane. Yep. I think there are some windows where there's like old storm windows that have been installed.
Right.
So that's creating the appearance of, like a.
Divided
Yeah,
panes when
yep.
it's, yeah.
But
The
it's
picture I'm looking
yeah.
at here.
We're pulling off the storm windows and they'll be obsolete.
And then the archtop sash is a custom sash with the archtop.
It is. So this is pretty interesting that we found downtown. Is actually it's a square frame window that was installed, and then they did the brick on the outside and then outside wood trim work. So we actually are able to install a rectangular window in the opening,
Okay,
and it still creates the same look on the outside.
okay,
So it's good for cost, but also for preserving the same look as what they have now.
okay.
So basically, our window, think about like, if you look closely on that rounded window, there is like brown wood that arches.
Right,
And then
that's a
there's the
frame.
white window part.
Right, that's your sash.
Yep, so the sashes will come out, that brown will stay. And then our window, white window, will set against the brown on the outside. So basically preserving the same look.
But will your white sash form that same arch?
It will not, but
See, that's-
it'll give the same look because the white window will be back behind, partially back behind. Like you're not going to see a square, like when you look at the window, from the outside, you're still going to see the rounded part. You're not going to see any square part, if that makes sense.
Right.
So as far as preserving the look, it'll continue to look exactly as it does now.
Yeah, your frame stays there,
Yep.
but your
So we
archtop sash is not going to be there. In other words, it's going to disappear up behind the frame.
it's only an appearance of
Right.
an arch sash, but it's actually a rectangular window.
Okay.
The actual frame of the window is rectangular, and we're just putting a window in that
Right.
frame.
And I know those windows were, a lot of those arched windows, most of them were framed that way. The arch was just formed in the layer of the face brick, and behind it, at Hugh Windows buildings, it was the square lintel. And then the sash itself was a sash that was cut to look,
Right.
yeah. But still, as long as it maintains the same frame sash appearance on the outside. I've seen some of them that have been replaced where you can tell that they put a square window behind it, and you look at it, you can tell it's that way.
Right. So what we found, this is the best solution to preserving the look on the outside and also keeping the cost down so we don't have to custom order like a radius window.
Right.
But it's up to you guys. We could do either or, just trying to help on cost. But we found that it does preserve the look.
Yeah, I think as long as, it's hard for me to describe it in a picture, as long as
Well, the brick arch will be there.
the brick arch will be there, your arched frame will be there, but your sash styles on either side, they could even be simulated forming the sash arch, or will that sash arch go away and you'll completely see the white lines of the sash disappear behind the arch? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do see what you're saying.
Because I've seen some done that way. And you don't necessarily have to replicate an archtop sash.
Right.
That could be squared, and you did a simulated, but we would want the lines of that sash to be preserved.
That would
And
be.
will that be preserved, or will it look like you just inserted a square piece of glass behind the arched frame?
I would say honestly, it would probably look like a square
Piece of glass behind.
piece of glass behind the arch frame.
Yeah, that's not, I don't think that's not gonna
Yeah.
preserve the look of that window, which is a defining feature of the front of the house. I mean, if anybody else wants to,
Does this company make,
That's the thing is they do make them, but I mean, unfortunately, this customer is not going to have it in the budget. That's the
I mean, like, what, it's like another 500?
like the window probably triples in price.
can they do a simulated,
Maybe like some sort of custom grid pattern, like to match that.
like your simulated divided lights have a grid glued to the glass on the outside and maybe also on the inside, and maybe or with or without a spacer.
Yeah.
And they do like a glued grid on the outside that follows that arch.
They can do custom simulated divided lights. It would be pretty tough to get that to line up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you almost have to template it, yeah. Yeah, you're
You
right.
could do a custom template, but again, they outsource all of their simulated divided lights. So even adding a custom
Right.
would increase the cost out of their budget as well.
Go inside those buildings with those arched windows and with the square lintel, they, like I said, and really the arch is just formed by the face brick. Yes, your sash is, that top sash is one piece, but the arch is formed with the wood. In other words, there's, it's still an arched piece of, it's still a round top piece of glass in there.
Right.
It's not like you're taking,
Like a square, it's still a square frame
Yeah.
of the replacement window.
yeah, I can't,
I know what you
draw
mean,
a
like-
picture of it, I can't
Like
describe
the
it
top would
very
be
well.
fixed essentially.
Yeah, and I think that's how they did it. The top was essentially fixed and, that it just, that sash was formed out of a square piece of wood, but
Yep.
the visible part was rounded and it was built to blend in and,
Yeah.
it was a square piece to fit a rounded piece of glass in it, yeah.
The company Interstate, who's I'm proposing with the composite windows, they don't make that. I can maybe search for other options, but
I think we'd probably prefer you did. I mean, again, anybody else, if you want to comment on it.
Is that window giving the homeowner problems?
these current windows,
Just the arched one?
no, but it's just like, it's not leaking or anything. I mean, besides it being drafty and not energy efficient, it's in her, so basically all of the windows that are, on the second floor is in the master bedroom. So it's just very drafty. She's from Florida, so this is
yeah,
shockingly cold.
Yeah, this is unheard of.
I'd say if it's a portion of the sash that's simulated or an entire sort of bit of extra white trim that you build
Okay.
around the window opening just to simulate it and then put the window behind that.
Yeah,
like,
that's-
just to fake it. You know, it's about getting the look accomplished.
That's true. I mean, we could use maybe like some sort of vinyl board and then cut the arch to make, like, would you be okay with something like that?
Stay away from
simulate that?
vinyl, but
Okay.
something.
Okay, composite, some sort of composite?
Yes.
Okay,
The,
So-
the thing I think we're objecting to is that it's gonna look like a piece of glass with frame but no
yeah,
sash. Those sash pieces are gonna disappear behind the
Right.
frame, and the same way with the glass, and so you're not gonna see,
yeah,
it's not gonna top, that section of the window.
the customers are always okay with the way that will look because once they see the price difference.
Right.
But it's tough for us to try to figure out the balance between like what's gonna preserve the look and what's gonna work on cost, that type of thing.
Right.
So I'm open for suggestions. If there's something that we can do, some custom work to put a piece in there like you recommended, that would be awesome.
Probably just a fabricated, just a couple inches of trim.
Yep.
Just to
As long as it looks like it does now with a full, you're keeping the frame, so you have the full arch
Yeah.
top frame and the exterior appearance of an arch top sash.
Yep.
And then, doesn't matter what happens behind it,
You
we're
just don't want like the glass disappearing behind the trim.
correct.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Correct, because I've seen houses that do that, and it's like, if I
Yeah, it
owned
looks
that house,
cheap.
it'd be one of the first things I'd replace. Yeah,
If we could do something custom, that would be much more cost effective. Instead of having getting something custom from the manufacturer. So if
Okay.
we could go that route, that way I can help her out, that would be awesome.
okay,
But again,
okay.
up to you guys.
Wouldn't this make the upper sash inoperable or no?
The upper sash may already be inoperable, I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it already is, but the double hung window that we would be putting in, if we did something custom, it would make it inoperable, which we could pin the top sash. We could tell the manufacturer to turn it into essentially a single hung, even though it's really a double hung that's pinned. So we could do something like that.
And this fake arch is attached to what? It's not attached to the glass, is it?
It'd have to be mounted to the face of the window.
from the existing trim.
Have you ever, they all looked like that from the inside. They all had a square lintel. And the sash piece, so what he would be talking about is that this new sash piece is like that, and your outside arch is still doing that. So that's why that glass is disappearing behind it and you lose that line. But they were built with that upper sash being square. And I doubt if it ever dropped. Maybe in some cases they could lower it, but in most cases that might have been fixed. I never really investigated them. But I saw that in public buildings, old school buildings from that era, houses, that's how they did it. Yeah. But then people come by, like I said, and they'll just replace it with one piece of glass that disappears behind and keep that frame, and then it's like, yeah, you lose that. It looks like a piece of glass shoved behind the old, yeah.
I mean, I do
Looks like a
have-
replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some pictures here. I mean, I didn't attach them here. I just attached the outside stuff. But I have pictures of the frame if it would help you guys to see it. Totally up to you. But
I
I'll
think,
follow your lead, whatever you guys recommend.
I think we want that, the existing look of the exterior archtop window sash retained.
Okay.
That exterior appearance retained, whether it's fabricated that way with the window or it's simulated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. That's definitely something that we're gonna have to do. Like my company will do. Yeah.
The other option would be keeping that and just fitting it with an interior or exterior storm window. An exterior storm window, you're talking custom fabrication again. An interior storm window, because it's a square top, you could do that and nobody would ever know it was there.
True.
That's another option.
Maintain operability of that window as well.
Yeah.
Right, right. It depends whether, I see there's an air conditioning unit in now, they may need to have that bottom,
Right.
yeah.
I think they have it like built in on the inside to hold up the AC unit and stuff. So I would say that probably what you would want to do is just put a standard window in and have us custom fabricate something to fit in there.
Okay,
So if we could go that route, that would be awesome.
okay.
You want to make that motion?
I was afraid you'd ask that.
Familiar with-
I will move that we approve the application with the following stipulations. The existing flat arched windows, flat-topped windows will be replaced with, existing frames will be maintained, windows will be replaced with 1/1 sash to match the existing. And the existing arched top second floor window will be replaced with 1/1 sash, either with custom arch-topped glass sash, I'm not describing it well, I need to type it out, or simulated, that the appearance of the arch-top sash must be preserved from the exterior. What is the transom above the door? You're not doing anything with that?
Nothing with the door.
Okay,
They, yep. I'm not sure.
okay. It doesn't matter. If you're not touching the door, that doesn't matter. Or the door transom. There's an awning over there, so I can't see.
I will second his motion.
Any other discussion or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Motion's approved.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for your help.
Thank you.
Next case is 119 East Market Street. Remove existing asphalt shingles down to the wood substrate and install new GAF timberline architectural shingles, color charcoal. Pretty
Yep, that's pretty much
straightforward.
it. We're just removing the the 3-tab shingles and installing the GEF architectural charcoal gray.
Any treatment to the,
No, the face boards or anything like that?
Yeah.
Nothing. We're not doing anything as far as, other than the edge metal for the trim, that's it. We're not even replacing the flashings or anything like that. Flashings are in good shape, so.
And this roof doesn't have much visibility from the street either.
It's actually, I have a picture here. It's actually, you can't even see the shingle roof from,
Yeah, it's very,
yeah.
119 East, this is for.
and we approve this type of replacement all the time, so I'm fine with that. There's no other work on trim or anything else, correct?
Nope.
Okay,
No gutter work, nothing else, just the shingles are in bad shape.
okay.
Yeah,
All right, I will move that we approve the application as submitted.
Seconded. That was me.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? Hearing none, it's approved. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
And apparently 43 to 45 West Love Street isn't here.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
Eliminated everybody.
Do you need a motion to table it until next month, or are we just saying if they didn't come, they have to reapply?
That's up to you guys. I mean, you're saying if you want to-
I mean, I should know this. What's the practice if they don't show up?
This guy was here last time, and he had proposed a major addition off the back, but had not had it well fleshed out, and my guess is he still doesn't.
Well,
What-
that was actually, I was at the
Okay.
firm when that happened, I wasn't the designer on it.
Oh.
But, it was like an underdeveloped schematic design.
Right.
Model type of thing. And it looks like what he's coming back to do now is with a significantly reduced scope, and a new designer, same firm, obviously, but just to restore some aspects of the building, fix some gutters, it looks like.
So what do you think?
So was the one here last week, the Daniel Bowser, or was it the,
Who's the owner?
When you said last time, did you mean like the last time?
The last,
building came in?
wasn't this,
oh, they weren't here last?
It was the last one.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
okay.
Town Hotel and 119 South Newberry.
Is the owner at Real Services now? Because for a while, Statewide had owned it. Because wasn't Statewide the one that had Murphy and Denhafer do that addition sketch? Because it was kind of based on their standard,
It was an apartment. They were
Yeah.
on a bunch of,
yeah.
That's, is that Long Properties now?
No, it says Real Services. Is this Daniel Bowser has a Real Services,
It's on the left-hand side now, right almost to the square right there. Oh, you know what?
no, this one's down closer to,
I know what
Beaver
that is.
Street.
That was the one that came in a couple of different times to planning and zoning with a pre-development, and they wanted to build apartments on stilts in the back.
right.
A couple of different, and then the last time I checked, it's, I don't know who, I have to read it.
now they're just restoring it.
Yeah, so,
And it might be a different owner because Statewide had it,
they gotta go,
yeah, and they had Bink do a design in the back, and then I think they had Murphy and Denhafer do something, and, yeah.
I guess
so
the
it's,
owner is
it is now, I don't know how to pronounce it, Mashukala.
Oh, Meshuggah LLC, okay,
And that's 15 North Cherry Lane, is that,
yeah.
there's a property or a developer who's got their offices in Cherry Lane there, what's their name?
Wasn't Weinstein, was it? He
Pearl?
was the appraiser who was there.
Pearl? No? Wasn't it Pearl that was developing those?
Weinstein,
apartments?
Weinstein.
One that you guys said I could do a staff review, and I did a staff review, and then came back and said, nah, it needs to come in front of the board.
It was something like this, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, we gotta be careful of the staff reviews. I mean, I'm in support of them, but we gotta be careful.
so if you don't mind, I'd appreciate if you all agree that a staff review, only timely manner so that I can do it and not have to do it, not have thinking that almost everybody is okay with it, then I do it, and I send it to Charlie, then I gotta, and the applicant, then I gotta go back and say, nope, now they want you to come in front of the board. So, I mean, I'm not saying as soon as I send the email, everybody just drop what they're doing. But if somebody's saying, staff review, if everybody could chime in and say, yes, 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 or no right away.
I think because we don't have staff, like staff review came about, a staff review was something the consultant would do. And because we technically don't have staff, we don't have a consultant, I mean, the board's been making some decisions saying, well, we don't have to hear this. And that,
I
we're,
was trained that
const-
the planner does the staff review.
right,
If you all agree to, well, I'll put it to you like this. When I was trained to do this, it was, here, you decide.
right,
You know, should it go, here's the criteria, should it go in front of the board, here's the criteria for staff, and here's the criteria for not doing anything at all, it doesn't need to go in front. But I felt more comfortable with you all being the experts to say, hey, because we have plenty of time, we have a week, you know, it's cut off, this is everything before. Hey, let me know, you know, I might think one thing and be really off.
Right.
So that's why I forwarded to you guys, and so that it's not like, you know, something that really doesn't need to go, and we're all wasting time or whatever,
Right.
you know, or it's something that I would say staff review, and you guys are like, no, it needs to come in front. So that's why for the time it takes me to forward what Charlie sent to me with the HARB, application, you guys are usually pretty quick at getting back to me. And then that way I can say, okay, Charlie, yes, this is gonna go, and I can create the application in, create the COA, so.
I mean, and if anybody else has a different idea, I mean, speak up. I think because I've given this some thought, I think probably don't say anything to any applicant about a staff review till, I mean, you're gonna have to almost format it and forward it to the board members. And then the board members can chime in, anybody can, if you think that this could be a staff review, that we don't need to hear it. And then there can be some kind of agreement on the board whether we need to hear it or not, you know. There probably should be some kind of procedure by email for that, and then you can go back to the applicant and say, you don't have to appear, they've
Well,
approved this without.
Well, correct. So I forwarded it to you guys, and if you all say, well, or some of the people say staff review, well, I wait, even if one person says.
Right, because there could be disagreement,
Everybody
yeah.
else, some other people chime in, and then if everybody, if you know, everybody's like, yeah, I concur, or whatever, then I do the staff review, email it to you guys, and I email it in Charlie's, it's a whole, another paragraph of verbiage that says this can be done as a staff review, and I attach the staff review so that the applicant and Charlie has it, because that applicant is waiting, that, permit is submitted, okay? So they're sitting there, and so if it's a staff review, and Charlie takes the staff review, then she can move the permit along. You know what I mean?
Right.
If not, then she waits for city council for the, resolution that I pull off of there to come back, and I email them to her, then she attaches that, and then allows the applicant
Right.
to confirm it, you know, move forward.
Right.
I think we've got a pretty good thing going in a timely manner, because we got until the Thursday before the meeting, so last Thursday by 5:00. If Charlie didn't give me any more, that's it, but they can give me more, but it won't be heard until the next.
Right, which is the way it should be,
That's
right.
right.
Unless it's an emergency or something's leaking or, yeah.
It's preparation.
Right.
You know what I mean, the COAs, and I gotta
Right.
do the agenda, and, you know, it's some preparation, and I also am planning and zoning, so, you know. But that's how I was trained, that it was my decision, that was my call, staff call, that I didn't, you know, that I was, even sitting here listening, I'm learning more and more, but you guys are the experts.
Right.
So, and so that way, and also, you know, by forwarding that, you guys are able to free that proactive.
Right.
So you get, you know, more time than what you normally would, and you already know what pretty much everybody's ideal.
Right. Right.
So that we're not here till midnight.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So do you guys wanna table this one, or no show and they have resubmit it, or,
I'll make a motion to table it.
okay,
I'll second.
who was that second, Shamar?
Yeah, say I'll second.
There's a motion on the floor to table the application. Any other discussion or questions or comments?
So, when we pay for it, that just means they can come back the next, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know, you know, I mean, I'm trying to think. Applications that we've tabled in the past, I don't, you know, I guess I'm trying to think back years ago where they added to subsequent agendas if the owner is not gonna show up. I mean, I guess you'll have to report back to the owner it was tabled because he didn't show up.
Right, exactly.
And then, are you going to show up to the next one? And if they say yes, then put it on the agenda. If they say no, then don't put it on the agenda. I don't know how long something stays out there tabled.
Well, typically, so far since I've been doing this, and I'm at my year anniversary now, well, January, but, typically, we were tabling them if they needed to come back with a different idea.
Right.
Or with your
Right.
suggestions to come back and say, hey, yeah, okay, we're gonna do it this way, this way, this way. I think we've only had 2 no-shows.
Right, it's not, I don't think it's been many, correct.
All right, well, that's cool with me.
One thing I will just throw in about this is that they've just got photos of the existing building. I mean, anybody who's familiar with Market Street is probably relatively familiar with the building.
Yeah.
There's no drawings, there's no
Yeah.
diagrams, there's nothing even pointing at, I mean, they have the
Yeah.
verbal
Yeah.
explanation.
You want me to just-
They gotta bring something more than what they've got.
What they're doing, yeah. I mean, what's their, refresh my memory, what's their scope?
And drawings,
Well, it appears it's not written well enough.
Yeah, it's really not.
To be clear.
Replace gutters, exit door to removed and opening infield. Yeah, they're gonna need some kind of drawings for that. If they're closing an exit door, they're gonna need permit drawings.
what kind of drawings did you say?
Well, they're gonna need permit drawings because they're closing an exit door. So there's gonna have to be some basic, on the front of the building, remove existing single pane glass windows on first floor and replace with new 1-inch insulated glass to match. Okay,
Well, the front.
that's a window replacement. What are you replacing them with?
And we're gonna come before the building permit anyway.
Right.
If they brought this, I mean, at this point, I don't know, you chime in, Mark, but if they brought back the same photos with some notes and notation.
Yeah.
diagrams, like just saying where exactly they're looking to replace what, just
And then
to illustrate what they've got written.
things like pour new concrete sidewalk and alley to make level with the existing sidewalks, that's not our
Right, I don't know.
our jurisdiction's buildings or structures visible from a public street or way.
Right, I know.
The sidewalk's
I
not.
always include everything that they put on there. I know some of the stuff.
Right,
You guys.
right,
But that way, I'd rather have more info than not enough info.
right. I mean, the exit door, if it's on the back side or the alley side, it just sounds like it's some first floor modifications and improvements, but, you know, we do need more notes and more.
Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, most of the rear of this building was removed at one point.
It was, I
And
believe
so
so.
what's there is likely an interior area that was just sort of
Right.
covered up.
Which is hence the scheme that other developers were looking at of doing an addition in the back.
Right,
Yeah,
right. That was, I think, at one time a proposal. But I don't like the way it's written. It's not clear enough to me exactly what their intentions
I mean, one
are.
of those addition schemes showed a building that was higher than this building, too, in the back, right? Yeah,
It was, ones that were on stilts so they could provide parking underneath.
Yeah.
In the front building, they were gonna have a walkway to where you would go for, I guess, the apartments.
Right.
And everything, but leave the front building intact, and they wanted to do commercial.
right.
That was,
Right.
and
I think some of those images are the ones posted on the for sale sign.
yeah, with that's,
Yeah, that was marketed.
yeah, but, and then the next people that came to us, they were like, well, you know, they were talking about, you know, just not as much of that, not as elaborate as that, not as many apartments, that sort of thing.
Okay,
But then it kinda just died.
yeah.
We never, you know, we did some, like, 2 pre-development meetings, and then,
Interest rates went up.
yeah, well, so did material costs.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
okay.
Tell them to come back with more drawings.
Yeah, they just need to give us more information.
Do you want me to amend my motion tabled, but they have to come back with more information?
Yeah, you can amend
I
it.
amend my motion that we'll table it, they need to come back with more information following the discussion we just had.
Right,
And you're seconding that?
yeah, I'll second.
Okay. So, everyone clear on the motion?
Yes.
Yes, great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Hearing none. Motion to table is approved. Thank you.
All right.
I think that concludes our agenda for tonight
Have a lovely holiday season.
Yep, thank you, you too.
as well.